welcome back to another episode of the Super Message. In today's episode, we'll be having a hands-on session of the lithium-ion battery pack. But before we jump into that, here's some interesting EV news from this week. In what comes as a good news for EV vehicles in the Indian market, there's been a consistent rise in the sales of the same since the past 3 years. As against just 70,000 units of electric vehicles sold in 2017, there's been a steady increase up to 180,000 vehicles sold in the recently concluded 2019 and 2020 years. And it comes as a no-brainer that these sales have been dominated by the two-wheeler segment. In order to further boost these electric vehicle sales in the country, the government has actually decided to cut down on the GST that is required for sales and setting up of charging infra of electric vehicles. For the sales of electric vehicles, the existing GST was 12% and it has been brought down to 5%. And the existing GST for setting up of electric vehicle charging points was 18% and it has been reduced to 5%. They are also planning to see as providing of electricity as a service, and this should actually boost furthermore by getting and attracting a lot more investments. Moving on, Hero Electric has had a really good year in terms of its sales of its two-wheeler segment. They have sold close to 50,000 units just in the 2019 and 2020 season. This comes as a no-brainer because to reduce all this stigma and anxiety around how much range the vehicle is going to give and whether the battery is going to be sustainable or not, they've actually set up close to 1,500 charging points throughout the country to gain the customers' confidence. And it is clearly seen in terms of the sales that these guys have been doing. And they actually had a production facility of just 70,000 capacity and they are trying to boost it up to close to 250,000 capacity owing to their sales in the recently concluded year. And these guys have a really good connecting point because they connect close to 600 touch points throughout the country and they have access to more than 500 towns. This is a really good sign to see that all this electric vehicle market is booming really well in the Indian space. Now Abhijit will be taking you through the hands-on session of the lithium-ion battery pack.
In today's episode, we are going to talk everything related to batteries in e-bikes. What we have here is a 48 volts, 20 amps, 10 Ah lithium-ion battery pack. This one's a little old. We've been using this pack for about 2 years for all our in-lab prototype testing. This pack is made up of 52 lithium-ion 18650 cells. We have 13 cells in series and 4 in parallel, and hence 13 into 4, 52 cells. Each cell of this particular pack is rated for 5.2 amps continuous discharge with a nominal voltage of 3.6 volts and has a capacity of 2500 milliamperes. The cell used here is a Samsung ICR 18650-26J. Different cells have different ratings. These ratings will be available in the datasheet of the cell. The cells are often chosen based on their rating, price and availability. We know that cells in series adds the voltage, so 13 cells in series, each with a nominal voltage of 3.6, gives us a total voltage of about 48 volts. Whereas cells in parallels have the same voltage but double the current and capacity. In this pack, we have 4 cells in parallel, so 4 into 5.2 amps is approximately 20 amps. In the same way, 2500 mAh into 4 is equal to 10,000 mAh or 10 Ah. So that is how this pack is a 48 volt, 20 amp continuous 10 Ah battery pack. Now, let's talk about the BMS. BMS or battery management system are very essential for lithium-ion battery simply because of its cell chemistry. Even though lithium-ion technology has performed magnificently and improved over the last decade, the chemistry inside the battery is very susceptible to certain risks such as overheating, overvoltage, deep discharge and overcurrent. For this reason, these batteries should be operated inside a safe and well-defined operating window. To prevent battery failure and mitigate potential hazardous situation, there is a need for a supervising system that ensures that the battery functions properly in the final application. Cheap generic BMS from China often come in standard ratings common among e-bike users like 12S, 13S and 14S. And this will also have a current rating. The 12S or the 13S rating is obviously selected based on the configuration of a battery pack. And the current rating depends on the maximum current you decide to pull out from the pack. So in our case, the BMS must have a current rating of above 20 amps. That's all I have for you today. Hope you have a basic idea of battery packs and batteries in general. If you have any questions or comments, please ask away. That said, see you soon. Take care and thanks.
All of us realize that all the teams are slowly getting back to their workshops to commence work on their vehicles in order to be eligible to participate in the on-track Sherry Marathon events that are scheduled for later this year. So, in order to ease the process, we at Inferno have some basic tips that one could follow while you're resuming work. It could be as simple as just cleaning your workshop, because it's been like almost a year that none of us have been able to attend workshops and make sure that we've worked on the vehicle. So it is really important that one make sure we clean the workshop. That's the first thing you could do. Second, try and look for places where we could actually start with the refurbishment of stuff. Because of this forced gap of close to 1 year, there's a lot of things that could go wrong than right. So it's really important that we check that everything is in place, whether the electricals are fine, whether the paint is peeling off, or whether there's any issues with the carpentry and everything. So it's important and imperative that every team actually checks before getting started on the work for their vehicles. And the third and the most important thing would be, as you are getting started on the vehicle, make sure you follow all this basic safety rules along with the rules that we usually follow at these workplaces. So along with having safety gloves and having safety glasses throughout, make sure you try and wear a mask at all times, and when it starts getting uncomfortable, make sure that you release the mask for like a couple of seconds so that you can take in some fresh air. This is not all, there is a lot more safety tips, but these are some of the very basic ones that could actually help arrive at a better and safer workplace so that all of us are fit and fine for the event. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.